The Say the Bay story is a real American story. It's a great American story. It's a story of simple people joining together for a unique cause and mustering their manpower and whatever other resources they had so that they could take and get equal use of things that they thought were precious. And we grew that, and eventually we got $8,000. We kept going up the ladder a little bit until Trudy wanted a raise. No raise. I said, I'll tell you what you can do. You and Dawn Giles, she joined us. That was another drama. But she joined us, and she and Trudy were going to write this book on life, liberty, and the pursuit of energy. And they kept writing it, and writing it, and writing it. And I said, when do we print this? Well, we got more to do. We have more to do and more to do. And they did more and more. And finally I said, it's going to print next week with or without an ending. That's it. Next week it's going to print. And it was beautiful. We had a presentation at some private school over in East Providence. What was the name? Whatever that private school is. And we presented that book and made a discourse on it and gained a lot of notoriety for that. The first public meeting we had for an annual meeting was at the Providence Public Library. And one of the benefactors at that time was John Nicholas Brown. Every time we run out of money, I call John Nicholas Brown. And he'd call his broker and they send us a couple of $1,000. And we went from there. So at the annual meeting, here comes 6'9" or whatever he was, John Nicholas Brown, down the center aisle, said, John, we gave away little sapling trees that day. I didn't get a tree. He was the world's richest young man. So I gave him my tree. Because I didn't know what the hell to do with it anyway. I gave him my tree. And he was thrilled to death. So the next day, I said, I want a couple of $1,000. And he did. I have a couple of friends in the audience, Edna Wilson. Ginny Matheson worked there too. She couldn't come, but she sent me a letter. If I keep my glasses, I'll be like that. And Tom Hazelhurst, who was not only a stalwart member of the board, but when I had left Save the Bay and I was teaching communications at UMass Dartmouth, he was kind enough to open up his advertising agency to take my class in there and give them a day of review on what a first-class agency looked like. And they really appreciated that. And I appreciated Tom. But we had a great board. Those guys that did the founding of Save the Bay really were magnificent. They wouldn't let me take any money from anywhere, but they were magnificent. And as long as I was paying my own gas, they didn't care. We went from there. However, once I got Trudy in there, there was not too much rusting to take place. We did a film one time. I don't know whatever happened to that film. Do you still have it?
Yes.
Okay, they still have it.
John, do we have it?
And when we got that film done, we were so proud of it, we couldn't find any place to show it. So we had to hire a theater, and we did. And we went to a theater with it and had the people come by and get it. But we did achieve a number of things. We used to do a lot of little things, like we had runners who would take Dirty Bay from the Providence River and run it in a road race down to Newport and dump it in the water in Newport to illustrate that if it's dirty up there, it's eventually going to be dirty down here. We had guys sailing a boat in the Providence River, and they got sick. They really got sick. And we had to pull them out of there. So we used the sail to have people sign it. And we had a lot of people sign the sail, and we used that as another kind of promotional gimmick type of thing. And then we had a guy named Wayne Wunsch who came to work for us. It's too bad Wayne's not here. I haven't seen him since I left. But he said that he'd be glad to speak if we were tired. Well, Trudy never got tired, but I got tired. So I used to let him go speak for me. He'd give him a 15-minute briefing on what we were all about, and he'd go out and speak. I thought, this guy's a genius. He'd come back, he said, I got a little check, too. All that time, when Trudy and I were speaking, we never charged anybody to speak. We figured, in their largesse, they would give us money. That didn't prove to be true. They just wanted to give us fish. But eventually we started charging, and I found that this is a good way to get out of having to make all these speeches. If I spoke, it was $150. If Trudy spoke, it was $100. If the board member spoke, it was $50. And if a lower board member wanted to speak, he could get $25. So I stopped speaking at that. I figured they'd all go and get the money, and I just sit there and count it. We struggled a lot, but we got Rome Point defeated. We got and in fact, Rome Point, the guy who was the head of the electric company at that time, said, I said something in the paper, which Judge Sheldon got a little upset with, and we had to have a meeting with the journal. But he said, John Scanlon, nobody else is going to tell me how to run my company. And I answered him and said, John Scanlon and everybody else is going to tell you to get into the 20th century because we'll either do it in the boardroom or the courtroom. And he buckled. So,